Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee Books and Rain. I've got my coffee, I've got some books down here as we can see, and the rain stopped quite a bit earlier this morning, so sadly we are out of rain. I tend to keep recording after the rain or like before the rain, so that is my bad on timing, but we're having a great day. I just actually I was checking my Fitbit because my Fitbit will buzz if I get a text message or in like a little email or something. And it was like Carvana was like, a car that you've been looking at dropped in price. So I checked it and it had dropped like $400. And I was like, that doesn't even cover anything. So that was disappointing. I will keep waiting until the car that I want comes along. I do this thing where I always get a newer used car, and so that's probably what I'll do this time as well. Probably next summer. Crossing fingers that my car will hold on till then. I love it. I love my car. I will take care of it as best as I can until it just falls apart, and then I'll go out and try to get a different one. But we're not talking about cars. We are talking about books. And I had run across one called The Murders in the Endicott Hotel. I like a locked room murder mystery, and this is more of like a locked building murder mystery. So I was kind of intrigued, but I will say I probably give it 4 stars. So that's going to go ahead and be kind of my rating because I did realize as I was editing a few episodes, I wasn't really consistent on giving you guys my kind of like my ratings. So I just kind of want to put that out there that I need to do better about giving you guys my ratings of what I'm giving these books. Again, one of my big things is if I don't give it at least a 4 stars, then I'm probably not going to review it. Now, I will tell you guys if I'm rounding up, then if I'm giving it a 3.75, but Goodreads only lets me give it whole stars, then I will probably tell you that. This one I would probably give a 3.75, but round up to 4. And I will explain why as we kind of dive further into the book. This is by a guy named David Murphy, and we're going to put the cover over here as we do as we continue to talk about the book. So we are going to dive in. We are also going to try to be better at mentioning that this is a NetGalley advanced reader copy that I received, because most of the time my books, sorry, had a little swallow there. A lot of my books do come from NetGalley. I am a very active member on NetGalley. I do receive between 15 and 16 books a month if that's what I've applied for. I don't get turned down that frequently, but every once in a while, it doesn't hurt my feelings. I know they either have a limited number to give out, or maybe I'm just not the right demographic for it. I know I requested one and I think it was in Italian. I didn't realize, but it sounded really cool. It's called The Cartographers, and map making sounded really cool, but maybe if they ever translate it in English, then I will be excited to read it. Anyway, we are talking about the murders the murders in the Endicott Hotel by David Murphy. Can a person change so profoundly that they become someone entirely new, or will they always be the person whom they were? These questions lie at the heart of this techno-thriller and locked room murder mystery. A pioneering biomedical company believes that they have cured 5 imprisoned serial killers using a resurrected medical procedure, the amygdalotomy. I think it's where they kind of do a medical procedure up on the amygdala, if I read the book correctly. And the company averts before a federal court that the prisoners are now fundamentally new people. Therefore, the court releases the prisoners, and the biomedical company flies them and their own staff to a luxurious hotel in Alaska for a celebration and a public relations event. But Daniel Larch, the CEO of the company, is having trouble. Larch's adult stepson catches him having an affair with the company's lawyer. The Russians are trying to buy Larch out, and an aggrieved relative of one of the serial killer's victims appears unexpectedly at the Endicott Hotel. A blizzard strikes, communications are cut off, and Daniel Larch is poisoned to death. Yes, he is. The biomedical company staff find themselves trapped in the hotel with 5 former serial killers. Walter Churchfield, a former detective, steps in to restore order. But as more guests are killed, Churchfield has to decide whether one of the serial killers is committing the murders or whether the killer is someone who might have never been caught killing before. So this book is expected to be released on November 19th of 2024. And it looks like it's Kindle publication. Well, I see a different Kindle publication maybe was released on September 1st of 2024. So I'm not certain which. This also says Kindle edition publication on November 19th of 2024. So I'm not sure, because both of these say Kindle edition, and we're going to keep going. Although I do like the Dream Eerie version. It's got like death, and he's like, yeah, looks really cool. I like that version. So I might put that version over here as we talk about it. But we are diving into this locked hotel murder mystery because that is what it is. So a locked room murder mystery, if you guys are not kind of familiar with this trope or this kind of sort of genre, is when you have a specific number of people who could have done the sort of murder. Because there could have really been no outside interference. Somebody could not have come in and come out and done the deed when no one was looking. And so locked room means that no way in, no way out sort of situation. Somebody in the room did it. And I'm not exactly sure who started it, but I know Agatha Christie was phenomenal at kind of that particular trope or genre. She was brilliant at a locked room murder mystery. So if she started it, kudos to her, or if she just made it really popular, again, kudos to her. She's one of my favorite murder mystery writers. Now, this book, I will say one of its kind of, probably its biggest downfall, in my personal opinion, or one of its biggest hindrances. I wouldn't say downfall because I did have a good time reading it. And again, I enjoy murder mysteries. I enjoy figuring out who done it and trying to figure out clues along the way. My biggest issue was the cast of characters. There were just so many. I think at one point they literally give me a list, and I probably counted 24 to 30 people. And that's where I was like, wow, that is substantial. I also kind of question whether someone could have feasibly packed their winter clothes and like it's a luxury hotel that is not yet open to the public. Like, so it's brand new, it's not yet like opened for like opening day. That's set in Alaska. And so this pretty much PR event is happening in this hotel. And so there is staff, and the staff are staying in the hotel because of this blizzard. But the blizzard does die down at one particular point. And I just questioned, I was like, couldn't someone have just like left after a while? Like, couldn't they like hit out and like, I don't know. I started kind of wondering about different situations. Like, could it have been somebody else? But that was another questioning thing for me about this like locked room murder mystery. It seemed as though there was a lot of characters, and then I started thinking about like other sort of ways it could have happened, and then I started thinking about the different ways in which people were dying, and people were dying pretty frequently. I want to say, all in all, we had about 6 or 7 people like dying in this particular book. Like, it was a lot. And so the fact that nobody was really seeing much of anything was also very surprising. I um I would have loved to probably pick the author's brain a little bit about some of his thought paths when it came to kind of building up some of his like situations. Overall, half the characters are not likable at all, which I think is what you kind of want when it comes to these murder mysteries, because you kind of want anybody to have been able to do it. So you kind of either don't want anybody to be likable, or you want people to be like completely opposite and be completely likable, and you want people to kind of hope it's not them. Um, so you do have a couple of characters, very few, but a couple of characters that are pretty likable, or at least they are portrayed in a fairly favorable way. And then you have a couple of characters who are just absolute, what I would call dirtbags, just bottom of the barrel, just garbage. And very interesting, the ones who kind of get picked off and the ones who don't. I suppose it makes sense to the one doing the deed, but I was I was kind of surprised with a few of them, but then I was also not surprised by a few of them. And yeah, I think, I don't know. I don't know the psychology behind some of it. I would have loved to know the psychology behind some of it, but the psychologist does get taken out. So we don't get the psychology behind some of it, because he does ultimately also not make it to the end. But that's just my perspective on this particular book. Is it a pretty fun read? Well, as fun as murder mysteries can be. It's intriguing. Is it kind of thrilling? Sure. Um, do some things go wrong? Absolutely. Do some things go right? A few. But I like murder mysteries. I like trying to figure out who did it. Um, I'm not going to say anything about the ending. I'm not going to say anything about the reveal of the who, what, when, where, why at the end. That is not what I'm here for. So y'all are just going to have to try to figure that out all on your own, if you read it, if you don't. Or you can email me and I'll just drop the whole plot for you. Maybe not drop the whole plot. I just kind of did that already. But I will give you the big reveal in the end. Was I happy about it? I'm not going to say. That's just not for me to say. But anyway, thank you so much for being here. I hope you'll like and subscribe. I hope you will tune in again in the future to see what else we are reading. This one was a quick read. This one probably read it in a single sitting, because it's a pretty easy. I think my Kindle, I think it was like 200 pages. I don't think it was all that much. I do think my formatting was wrong, and that's probably the only negative feedback I am actually going to provide to NetGalley. Because constructive criticism wise, I'm just going to let NetGalley know, probably would have scaled down the cast of characters a little bit, and that would have made it a little bit more succinct for me. But then you have a lot of victims. So, I mean, I guess you've got a rampage that you're like able to go after. But for me, in my reading, my NetGalley reader, like, I have the NetGalley app, and I was reading the book in the NetGalley app, and it was not formatted well. So that was the only thing for me that did not make it, I guess, enjoyable to read. But that does not in any way affect my grading on this particular book. That is for me to give to NetGalley and just say, hey, I hope this is fixed in like post, because that would probably be deterring for someone who may pay for the book in the future. Um, it is an unproofed copy, so I am certain that they will fix that later, but that's probably my only critique or constructive like formatting feedback to NetGalley. But thank you so much. I will see you guys on the next page, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you so much.